What is going on, film fans? This is Let's Be Real Brad. Today on the channel, I wanted to give you guys a couple quick movie reviews of a couple movies that I saw this past weekend that I didn't get a chance to do separate movie reviews for because life's crazy, life's busy, so I wanted to give it all compact into one. So let's get right into it and start with Malignant. Malignant is a brand new horror film that will be released in theaters and on HBO Max and is directed by James Wan, who you may know as being one of the most influential and iconic horror directors of this past century, with doing many great horror films like Saw, Conjuring 1 and 2, Furious 7, that's not a horror film, Aquaman, and Insidious. So this is a movie that I was very excited for, considering that this movie didn't have a lot of marketing going for it, and to me, that sounded like a good thing because I don't want to know anything going into a film, especially a horror movie. And when you have James Wan on board to direct, and you have this incredible poster, I was so pumped to see this movie, and now that I've seen it, I thought this was a decent watch. What I think works so well in this movie is that it's able to embrace the campy horror style that we've been missing for such a long time. This movie was extremely entertaining. I could not wait to see what was going to happen next, even though I feel that this movie is very cliched at times and we do know where the story is going to take us, but I did have a great time watching all the crazy kills and how creative they were able to get with it. And everyone has been talking about the third act, and I have to admit, the third act is as good as people are saying it is, as it is super bloody, intense, and it gives you everything that you've been wanting when you've been watching the beginning of the movie, and I think it is very satisfying to watch. I will admit that the beginning of this film does take a while to get going, and it does feel like it's very repetitive, especially with the horror and the scares just coming one after another, and that seems to happen in many James Wan's horror films, but I do think this is a movie that you should check out because I thought it was an enjoyable, crazy, and honestly hypnotic horror film at times, even though that I didn't think this movie was all that scary. But for the great horror fans out there, I think you're going to enjoy this. I'm giving Malignant a 6 out of 10. And the last film that I want to talk about is the brand new Paul Schrader film called The Card Counter. The Card Counter has a big cast of Oscar Isaac, Tiffany Haddish, Ty Sheridan, and William Dafoe. So I was able to receive an early screening for this movie on Wednesday, and I really wanted to talk about it after I saw the movie, but the reason why I didn't is because I really didn't like this movie at all. This is the kind of movie that I should like as a cinephile who loves movies, who loves that art house style, and I really enjoy a lot of the themes and some of the acting performances that are in this movie, but unfortunately the story and the writing are the weakest aspects of this movie. But as someone who enjoys slow burn films like Paul Schrader's last film, First Reformed, that I still thought was an excellent movie, this movie just didn't feel the story arcs, and it felt like everything was just thrown into there and never finished. And I think that's going to be due to the horrible writing this movie has. I was really interested to see where this movie was going to go, but by the time this movie ends, I felt that none of the storylines were ever finished. By the end of the film, I felt like I didn't get anything from the characters. I didn't feel emotionally attached to any aspect of this movie, and there's really only 2 good scenes in this movie that I really enjoyed. The whole story concept of Oscar Isaac being this poker player, having this mysterious past, and just being really weird around the people that he meets could have been a really great film, but unfortunately it decides to go for that art house style, but not committing to that art house style. And I felt as that the cinematography, the editing, and the directing were so bland that I found the visual aesthetic of this movie to be so ridiculously boring that it wasn't keeping me engaged with its very boring and melodramatic story. This has to be the most disappointing movie of the entire year, and it seems as though that many critics are loving this movie, and I wish I could understand why people are loving this movie, considering that I'm willing to give those art house movies a chance. I'm usually siding with the critics on these type of movies, and I just didn't care for this movie, and it doesn't help that so many people in my audience were talking and leaving. I have never seen so many people leave a screening before, as the movie wasn't even done yet and people were already walking out of the theaters. I am giving the card counter a strong 4 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video, as I hope you guys hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you want to, and ring that notification bell so you guys never get to miss a brand new video.